Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here to show you how to use the Neewer wired trigger remote. As you may have seen my video earlier where I introduced this product, here's the actual video on how to use it once you have it in your hands. Now, as you see, you will find a delay, a long, an interval, an end, and a music note at the top of the display. And there's going to be a dash right there in which shows you where you're at. Now, delay stands for how much of a delay is there going to be before the first shot is taken, the very, very first shot. So if you need 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds to get away from your tripod so you don't cause any shaking, or to tie this thing to your tripod once you've set all your settings or whatever you might need, you can go ahead and put a 3-second or however many second delay on there. Or if you know you want to start a time lapse in 2 hours from now, you can set it for 2 hours of a delay and then it'll start going off in 2 hours. It's not necessarily something I would recommend, but at least they give you the option. So if we go here, you always want to set this for 0. This is the long tab, and that means how long will it expose your image. You want everything to be done in camera. Your camera's going to give you a much more accurate exposure meter and all the settings that you already know how to use your camera, so it would be just best to do everything inside your camera as far as the long tab goes. So set that to 0 and it'll let the camera do all the work for you. Now, we go here to interval. This is how many seconds between shots. Now, if you're taking pictures of something that moves faster, such as clouds, you'll want a shorter interval. If you want something that's a little bit slower, like perhaps a sunset or ice melting or whatever it may be, something you know that isn't gonna move very quickly, then you'll want a larger interval. So you hit set to change that, and we're gonna set it to what I set most of my time lapses for, but not all, but mostly I'm between the range of 6 to 9 seconds, and then I just go ahead and hit set. Sorry, I didn't hit it hard enough the first time. And you'll hear a little chime as long as you have your sound on for when your setting is set. And then we go to the end button, and I think this means number, but I could be wrong, but I'll tell you what it does. You can set a predetermined amount of shutter releases that this trigger will release. So if you don't want your time lapse to hit over 600 photos, for example, then you just put a max number of 600 or however many you might want. You can keep going up and up and up and up and up, or you can set whatever you want your max to be. It looks like the max goes up to 399. I never use this. I always set it for this because I want to stop the time lapse myself. I'm never too far from my camera when I do a time lapse, so I just find it easier for me to stop the time lapse instead of the trigger to stop the time lapse. And then the final setting is whether you want the chime to go off every time there's a shutter release. So I like to keep that on, but if we go here, I'm going to set it for a quicker setting just to show you that sound. So we go ahead and hit start. There's going to be a 3-second delay, and now it's going to start going off. And now I'll be quiet for a moment so you can hear that chime. So it's not too loud, and I find it useful because I know it's still going and whatnot, but a lot of people do turn this off too because they figure, I can hear the shutter in my camera, don't really need a beeping sound on this thing. So it gives you the option to turn it off. Now, if you have any questions about this remote, I'm more than happy to answer them. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Hit the like button if this video was helpful for you. Always feel free to refer to it if you ever get trumped on what one of these categories mean. Go ahead and start doing awesome time lapses, or do whatever you need to do with your wired trigger remote. This has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles.